and welcome to Kids Corner on Armstrong Channel 20. I'm Miss Krista, and I'm so excited today to be at Poland North Elementary School with Mrs. Hayes and Mrs. Kaschak's third grade classes. We're going to read one of my all-time favorite books, Dr. Seuss's Hooray for Diffendoofer Day. And after we read this very creative book, we're going to exercise some creativity of our own with a craft. Who knows what this is? Everyone knows what wrapping paper is, right? It doesn't have to be holiday wrapping paper. It could be birthday paper, any type of wrapping paper. But we're going to use this wrapping paper and turn it into beads. And after we make our paper beads, of course, our friends will be able to make bracelets and necklaces and all kinds of things. And all you need is wrapping paper, glue, and a little imagination. I hope that you love our book, my favorite book, and our craft. And if you would like Armstrong to come to your school, have a grown-up email us at channel20, that's channel20@agoc.com. I only have one sad little paper bead here. I think I better make some more. Who knows that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, oh good, you've always seen, who knew that it was first a book? Some of you by Roald Dahl. Okay, good, good. Do you know that most of your favorite movies started out as books? Yep, so it's important to read, so then when you see the movie, you can compare them, right? This book that I'm going to read, by the way, I picked you, you were my special class. I read this book once a year. It's my favorite book of all time. I almost have it memorized. Mr. Greg probably almost has it memorized because he's heard me read it so much. But they should make this book into a movie, which I should really write a letter, Mr. Greg. We should write a letter to someone. And I'm reading it to you because third grade is one of those years that you're going to find meaning. You know what I mean? Do you know what inference is? Inference is where you kind of look at it and you kind of know what the meaning is without the meaning being spelled out for you. Make sense? Because I know Mrs. Hay and Mrs. Kaschak right now are teaching you some pretty cool things with reading. So we are going to get, who likes Dr. Seuss? Oh, I know Mrs. Kaschak and Mrs. Hayes aren't raising their hands, but they love Dr. Seuss, right? See, there we go. I'm kidding. This book is very interesting because Dr. Seuss read this, or he wrote this when he was very sick. So he didn't get to finish it. And he had to have two students finish it for him, and his two students were Jack Perlutsky and Lane Smith, who are still authors. Jack Perlutsky writes a lot of funny Valentine's Day poems and a lot of poetry. So he had some help with this book. So when you look at it, and I'll leave it up here for you to look through, you'll see that it kind of looks Dr. Seussy, but it kind of doesn't look Dr. Seussy because he had two helpers because he didn't get to finish it. I've always lived in Dinkerville. My friends all live there too. We go to Diffendoofer school. We're happy that we do. Our school is at the corner of Dinkzuber and Dinkzot. It looks like any other school, but we suspect it's not. I think we're learning lots of things not taught at other schools. Our teachers are remarkable. They make up their own rules. Miss Wobble teaches listening. Miss Wobble teaches smelling. Miss Fribble teaches laughing, and Miss Quibble teaches yelling. Miss Twining teaches tying knots and neckerchiefs and noodles, and how to tell chrysanthemums from miniature poodles. Miss Vining teaches all the ways a pigeon may be peppered, and how to put a saddle on a lizard or a leopard. My teacher is Miss Bonkers. She's as bouncy as a flea. I'm not certain what she teaches, but I'm glad she teaches me. Look, she chirps, I'll show you how to tell a cactus from a cow. And then I shall instruct you why a hippo cannot hope to fly. She even teaches frogs to dance and pigs to put on underpants. One day she taught a duck to sing. Miss Bonkers teaches everything. Of all the teachers in our school, I like Miss Bonkers best. Our teachers are all different, but she's differenter than the rest. This sounds like a certain teacher I know. You probably know her too. She's kind of your third grade teacher. We also have a principal. His name is Mr. Lowe. He is the very saddest man that any of us know. He mumbles, "Are they learning this and that and such and such?" His face is wrinkled as a prune from worrying so much. Does this sound like your principal, Miss Matea? No. I've seen her eyebrows. They're nowhere near as fuzzy. He breaks a lot of pencil points from pushing down too hard, and many dogs start barking as he mopes around the yard. We think he wears false eyebrows. In fact, we're sure it's so. We've heard he takes them off at night. I guess we'll never know. But we know he likes Miss Bonkers. He treats her like a queen. He's always there to watch her when she's on her trampoline. There are many other people who make Diffendoofer run. They are utterly amazing. I love every single one. See if you have these people in your school. Our nurse, Miss Clot, knows what to do when we've got sniffles or the flu. One day I had a splinter, so she bandaged me from head to toe. Mr. Plunger, our custodian, has fashioned a machine, a super flooper-doo. It keeps the whole school clean. Do you have a nurse who takes care of you if you don't feel good? Do you have a custodian? Yep. Our music teacher, Mrs. Fox, makes bagpipes out of straws and socks. Our art instructor, Mr. Bees, paints pictures hanging by his knees. In science class with Mr. Katz, we learned to build robotic rats. In gym, we watch as Mr. Bear hoists elephants into the air. Miss Loon is our librarian. She hides behind the shelves and often cries out louder as we're reading to ourselves. We have 3 cooks, all named McMunch, who merrily prepare our lunch. They make us hot dogs, beans, and fries. Was it yesterday hot dog day? Oh, there you go. Plus things we do not recognize. And as they cook, they sing their song. Not too short and not too long. Roast and toast and slice and dice. Cooking lunch is oh so nice. Do your lunch ladies sing? Yeah, maybe you should put in that request. I know one of your lunch ladies. She's pretty funny. We were eating their concoctions, telling jokes and making noise, when Mr. Lowe appeared and held attention, girls and boys. He began to fuss and fidget, scratch and mutter, sneeze and cough. He shook his head so hard we thought his eyebrows would come off. He wrung his hands, he cleared his throat, he shed a single tear. Then sobbed, "I've something to announce, and that is why I'm here. All schools for miles and miles around must take a special test to see who's learning such and such, to see which school's the best. If our small school does not do well, then it will be torn down, and you will all have to go to school in dreary Flobbertown." "Not Flobbertown," we shouted, and we shuddered at the name, for everyone in Flobbertown does everything the same. It's miserable in Flobbertown. They dress in just one style. They sing one song, they never dance, they march in single file. They do not have a playground, and they do not have a park. Their lunches have no taste at all. Their dogs are scared to bark. Miss Bonkers rose. "Don't fret," she said. "You've learned the things you need to pass this test, and many more I'm certain you'll exceed. We've taught you that the earth is round, that red and white make pink. And something else that matters more, we've taught you how to think." "I hope you're right," sighed Mr. Lowe. He shed another tear. "The test is in 10 minutes, and you're taking it right here." We sat in shock and disbelief. "Oh no," we moaned, "oh no." We were even more unhappy than unhappy Mr. Lowe. But then the test was handed out. "Yahoo!" we yelled, "Yahoo!" For it was filled with all the things that we all knew we knew. There were questions about noodles and poodles, frogs, and yelling, and listening and laughing, and chrysanthemums and smelling. There were questions about other things we'd never seen or heard, and yet somehow we answered them, enjoying every word. 1 week later, after recess, Mr. Lowe meandered in. We'd never seen him smile before, but now he wore a grin. He soon began to giggle. His giggle grew by half, and then it really happened. Mr. Lowe began to laugh. "You've saved our school! You've saved our school!" he jubilantly roared. "We got the very highest score." He wrote it on the board. What? Let's see, let's count the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How much is that? What is it? 1,000,000%. Have you ever gotten 1,000,000% on a test? No, I think it's 1,000,000 or 10,000,000. I guess it depends on how you look at it. We'll go with 1,000,000. Can you believe that? I've only gotten 10,000 on a test. So, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You all look really scared. Okay, let's move on. Miss Bunkers did some cartwheels till her face turned cherry red. She bounded up to Mr. Lowe and kissed him on the head. "Hooray, hooray," she shouted. "I'm so proud I cannot speak." So she did another cartwheel and she pecked him on the cheek. "Ahem, ahem," coughed Mr. Lowe. "You all deserve a bow. I thus declare a holiday. It starts exactly now. Because you've done so splendidly in every sort of way. This day forever shall be known as Diffendoofer Day. And furthermore, I promise I won't ever wear a frown, for now I know we'll never go to dreary Flobber Town." Then we held a celebration. There was pizza, milk, and cake. Like everyone, I ate too much and got a bellyache. We laughed and whooped and hollered the entire school day long. Then we all sang triumphantly the Diffendoofer song. "We love you, Diffendoofer School, we definitely do. There surely is no other school that's anything like you. You're gribulous, you're grobulous. Each day we love you more. You are the school we treasure and unceasingly adore. Oh, finest school in Dinkerville, the only one as well. We love you, Diffendoofer School, much more than we can tell. You are so Diffendooferous, it gives us joy to say. 3 cheers for Diffendoofer School. Hooray, hooray, hooray!" What'd you think? Good? Yeah, did you like it? Have you ever read it before? I found this book about 5 years ago. In fact, our very first Kids Corner, I read this book. And I have loved it ever since. You are Kids Corner number 85. And I still read this book at least once a year. So there's something interesting about this book. It teaches you something very important that your teachers teach you every day, whether or not you realize it. What do you think your teachers teach you?
Math.
Math, sure, yeah, they teach you math. What else? Yeah. Spelling, reading, sure. What else?
Science.
Science, yeah, uh-huh.
Social studies.
Social studies, very good. How do you know that the earth is round? You just know? You just kind of know. What color is water on the globe?
Blue.
Uh-huh. Did you all brush your teeth this morning?
Yes.
Do you all know how to eat?
Yes.
How do you think you know that?
You just know.
You just know, right? Because teachers and parents, who are your teachers when you're little, before you go to school, teach you how to think. So you can figure things out for yourself, right? Well, I hope that you have fun with our craft today because it's going to take a little figuring out for yourself. I'm going to show you how to do a couple, but then you're going to get the hang of it. And the reason I picked this is because you're 3rd grade, right? So you've got the ability to use your fingers, real simple touches, dexterity. You have a lot of finger dexterity. You have fine motor skills, and you're pretty crafty kids. I had a 3rd grader at one time. I have another one coming up. I have one in 5th and one in 1st. So it's pretty interesting to see this 3rd grade because, again, 3rd grade is kind of different because You finally have that ability to be creative and to do some pretty intricate stuff. I made this today. I made it right before I came. I was sitting over there where Mrs. Cashjack is sitting, and I made it. It is a bead out of this. So, and you all know what this is, right?
Yeah.
It's wrapping paper, right? And around this time of the year, you know, we're going to start getting into gift-giving season, right? Everyone's going to be giving gifts pretty soon. And mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunts, and uncles, and your goldfish will probably have some of this left over. I wouldn't use the goldfish, the one that the goldfish uses. It's probably a little wet. I'd probably use the one that the humans use. So when you have this left over, what you can do is cut it into strips and make beads. And that would be fun on a day like today when it's kind of snowy out, right? And you're gonna be looking for things to do inside. Take the wide part of the triangle will be the one closest toward you, okay? So look at this. So yes, that like that. So the tail is away from you, okay? It's like a long triangle. And the wide piece is in front of you. The wide piece is 1 inch long and it goes down to a point. So the wide piece is in front of you, okay? So now take your Mod Podge and start with your Q-tip and start gluing it. Well, I had so much fun today in Mrs. Hayes and Mrs. Kaschak's 3rd grade classes at Poland North Elementary School. We read one of my favorite books, Dr. Seuss's Hooray for Diffendoofer Day, and then we made our very own paper beads. And all we used was gift paper, some Mod Podge, a pencil, roll it up, and we came out with these bracelets, just like our friend here. I hope that you loved the story and our craft, and if you would like Armstrong to come to your school, have a grown-up email us at channel 20, that's channel 20 at agoc.com. This is Miss Krista for Kids Corner. I hope you have a fantastic day.